Alright, today for you I've got the first guitar I ever owned. My parents bought this for me when I was in middle school. It's a Fender Strat, Squire Strat. It's El Cheapo. You can see there on the headstock. And yes, it is made in Indonesia. So it's not the good old American Strat. It's okay, it was my first guitar and I learned how to play on it. And it's not in its original form. I did a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's got new electronics, new hardware, tuners, everything. So let me tell you what I've done to it. I installed Wilkinson Easy Lock tuners, 6 inline for Fender headstocks. You can see those there. And what you had to do, or what I had to do, is drill out the holes a little bit. So I put it in a drill press, drilled them out carefully, and there you can see the original screw holes for the old tuners. That's the only drawback, but big deal. A pair of roller string trees, chrome finish, that's these. And in my opinion, these were a great upgrade because the stock ones did bind the strings up. You'd hear it go ting every once in a while you were tuning your guitar. It's a major pain. I got nickel pickguard screws all around, all the screws, the ones in the back as well. There's a pickup screw set, 6 screws, 6 springs. That's for the back, the bridge here. Or no, I'm sorry, that's for the pickups. Complete Strat upgrade electrical component kit. That's the switch and all the pots. Set of 3 black Strat replacement knobs. That's these. They used to be white. The pickups are white, and the switch tip was white. It's a USA tip. F164 USA spec switch tip, black. And then the biggest thing, and that's why I'm doing this video, is I did order a GFS. All the stuff came from GFS, Guitar Fetish. I did order this guy. It's a 10.5 millimeter spaced brass tremolo block, and I'm going to be installing it. It's got some serious weight to it, and I think it's going to help with the overall tone of the guitar. And this isn't going to be a scientific video. I'm just going to tell you what my opinion is. I've been playing this thing since I was in 8th grade, so I know it very well. So let's get that installed. Okay, I've got the strings removed now, and guys, this is the point of no return. If you don't know how to set up a guitar from scratch, then you're going to want to do one of two things. Either just don't do this, have a guitar shop do it for you, or the second thing you could do is you could go ahead and install it and then take it up to a guitar shop to have them set everything. You know, you got to set the truss rods, and all these need set properly. So there's a little more than just taking it apart and putting it back together and hoping it works. It needs to be set up properly. I'm going to go ahead and start by removing all of these. Then these will come out. Then you'll see the stock tremolo block that comes with it, and I'll get that one installed, the new one installed. Okay, there you have it. Alright, here we have the stock tremolo block versus this new one I bought. Hoping that the holes line up. Looks good so far, I would say. We'll see if it installs. One thing to note is that this hole is tapped out to a smaller diameter than this one. I'll confirm it here in a minute. I think it's kind of like what an American Fender would be, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll tell you guys later. Here's the stock tremolo. See what it weighs in at. 5 ounces. Here's the GFS brass. 9.8, so it's about twice the weight. Okay, there you have it. And one potential problem I see here is that this, well, it's going to be close. No, it's not going to work. This is not going to work. That stinks. Basically, I can see it already. When we put these springs in, you can see, for one, they're way too high. and 2, the back plate is not going to go on anymore. So that's too bad. Yeah, the only solution I see is to cut it down, which I have the means to do. So what I'll probably end up doing is, I don't know, using a hacksaw or a parting wheel to cut this down a little bit. It's too big. That's unfortunate. Maybe it wasn't quite. Now, I think I know the reason why. This, if I remember right, the Squires, the body size is a little bit thinner than standard Stratocasters, and I bet you that's the reason this doesn't work. But I've never seen anyone else install these brass tremolo blocks, so I can't be sure. But we'll get it fixed. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. I'll reweigh it and then reinstall it. Alright guys, I got you set up here on a GoPro. I'm way too lazy to get all my camera gear out here in the garage. So basically I just line those up, struck a line, and I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. It's going to take a while, but I feel I'll have the best control. So the good old hacksaw. Let's get started. There it is cut. It's not perfectly square. I'm going to fix that here in a second. Took a little bit of work. Not too bad to do though. 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and file this up, get it cleaned and polished. Okay, the last step is I've got to re-drill these little holes where the springs go in. And they're drilled at an angle, so I'm going to have to drill them straight down, because if I were to go follow the angle that they were drilled at, it would come out the side. I'm using a 1/16 inch bit here, so I'm going to get that viced up and then drill them out. Okay, there we have it. Nice fit. And I'll do that 5 more times. I've got my depth set. And the last step is I'm going to countersink all these holes just a little bit using a larger drill bit. I went up to 3/32. There you can see the final product. I think it looks pretty good. Got a little bit, that's where I started sawing. I was a little off my mark, and then I straightened it up to my mark, and I didn't want to take away any more material. The only thing that will happen is the spring will be 1/1000th or 2 lower than these other ones, so it's not an issue at all. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the guitar. Alright, there we have it. After the modification, it worked fine. Just a close-up of what it looks like. The cover will fit right on there, no problem. You can put these springs in different configurations if you wanted. I stick with that right there. And at the our next step is to put everything back together in reverse order. I'll put strings on it, and we'll see what it sounds like. All that's left to do is put new guitar strings on, and I just wanted to show you this right quick. I like to use this Guitar Honey. I'll spray a little bit of this on the fretboard and work it in. I really like this stuff. Just work each fret and go all the way down the line. I got the guitar all set up, and now I'm using the mic I'm using is the one I use, the new one I got for filming stuff. It's a shotgun mic, and I'm going to see how it sounds. I'm not going to mic the amp itself. I'm just going to see how this comes out. Let's try a couple chords. Here's the clean sound. Believe it or not, I think I noticed a difference with the brass tremolo in there. Pretty subtle, and it could be in my head, but whatever. Try a couple effects here, some overdrive. That's the biggest thing. I think there's just a little more sustain than what there used to be. Probably my favorite effect is digital delay. Got a couple more pedals coming too that I can't wait to try out. The whammy's fun. So overall, I think it's a good buy. I had to modify it. I think it's just because I have a Squire Strat, but I'm pretty happy with the way the whole thing turned out. Okay, to wrap things up, I think that upgrade was a good upgrade. I think the biggest and most key upgrades is probably like something like that and your tuners. The stock tuners that came with this were complete garbage, and once I replaced those, that was just, you know, keeping your guitar in tune's the most important thing. Is this guitar as good as an American-made Strat? No. No, it's not. I mean, definitely not as good as something like this. And, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. All I can do is upgrade it as much as I can, and it's got a different sound, you know. It doesn't have quite as much tone, and it doesn't have as much sustain as the American-made Strat, but overall, I think it's not too bad for a $300 guitar. It's probably what I've got into it now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take it easy. So I'll peel some back, fold again. Here's the ridge. And you can see it's kind of going this way. You can actually shape these, so I'm going to go ahead and take it up back that way now. Work it around this ridge. Here we go. And these, like I said, you can kind of work these stickers the way you want them to go. Then hair dry, wipe it